Tuesday, June 23rd, 2020 at 4 p.m. Could we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Miles,
Present?
Vice Mayor Lingenfelter,
Present.
Councilmember Mello Keener,
Here.
Councilmember Nelson,
I believe she's here, but we can't hear her for some reason.
Councilmember Nelson,
I see her.
Someone unmuted me. I am here.
Councilmember Scott Staley, Councilmember Watkins,
Here.
Councilmember Waite. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Could you join me, please, in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag, to our flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, Annie. I'm sorry I didn't give you enough time there. I'm sorry. Okay. Today we are here on one order of business, and that is a public hearing on resolution number 5273 and adoption of fiscal year 2020-21 budget and capital improvements plan. The public hearing and adoption of the fiscal year 2020-21 final budget and the capital improvement plan represents the last step in the formal budget process. Council may make additional modifications prior to the adoption of the final budget, but may not increase the budget above the appropriations set in the tentative budget, which was $222,754,251. The City of Kingman falls under the Home Rule option, which sets the city's fiscal year 2020-21 maximum expenditures after allowable exclusions at $50,008,149. The city's final budget after allowable exclusions is estimated to be $274,974 below the annual expenditure limitation. It should be noted the City of Kingman does not levy a primary property tax, and there are no outstanding or authorized general obligation bonds associated with a secondary tax. Staff recommends council hold the public hearing, make any additional changes, and adopt resolution number 5273 and the fiscal year 2020-21 final budget and capital improvements plan. So at this time, I would like to open the public hearing. And because this is a virtual meeting, we have asked for public comments to be submitted prior to 9 o'clock this morning. And our city clerk has, I think, sent all of us on the council a copy of the public comment that was submitted by Bill Franzen, a candidate for Kingman City Council. That's correct, isn't it, Annie? Everyone was
Yes,
sent.
Mayor, that was the only comment that we received for this item.
Okay, so at this time, this is the only comment we've received. And basically this comment questions the delivery, I guess, of how the proposal to educate the public by the Vice Mayor was made, to educate the public about the need for working on roads and the tax to work on roads. And he also comments that that he finds it amazing that Mayor Miles said that we were able to keep 40% in reserves, and in fact there was 83%, almost 23 million in the account last year. Why haven't you used that for roads? Now, as a council, we cannot address this public comment directly, and so perhaps it will be covered some in the discussion about the budget. And so, given that this is the only comment, I'm going to close the public hearing and actually turn this over to Manager Foggin for discussion.
Madam Mayor, this is Vice Mayor Lingenfelter. I have a question for Attorney Cooper if he's on the line.
Sure.
Carl, are you on the Zoom?
I am, sir.
Since the comment addressed me directly, am I able to respond?
With this, I think if you'd like, this is basically not a call to the public, but a public hearing. The probably more appropriate part would be when you're having your discussion. You can definitely respond at that point to whatever points you wish to discuss.
Very good, thank you.
That's what I would prefer, and that's why I said I think it can be discussed. Thank you, Mr. Cooper. I think this can be part of the discussion on the budget.
Great.
But at this time, I'd like Manager Foggin to go ahead with the discussion.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, City Council. We appreciate the opportunity to meet with you in this special meeting. Thank you for your time. I just, in presenting the 21 budget to you, just want to again reemphasize how much work goes into building the budget. Tina and her team put in countless hours to have a budget document, as well as all the data collection. So Tina and her team need to get extra kudos for this. Also, my leadership team does a whole bunch of work to make sure that their budget information is submitted, is accurate. I really appreciate our efforts that we don't have departments that ask for a whole bunch of money and then hoping to get a little bit. I have a team that really understands and works together, that we all share this money, and that we all need and are trying to provide services for our citizens. And so I'm happy to report that we're providing a balanced budget. We are living within our means. Of course, we would love to have more money in which to do additional livability projects. And those are things that we've discussed through the budget meetings that we've had with the council. And then I want to thank the council again for their time through the budget process and their input. The retreat and the citizen survey have all been taken into account when we built this budget. But for the presentation part of this, I'm going to turn the time over to Tina to walk you through some of the budget highlights. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this since we did this. Nothing, of course, has really changed since the council passed the tentative budget. But Miss Tina is going to cover a couple of items with you.
Thank you, Manager. Hello, Director Moline.
Good afternoon, Mayor, and good afternoon, Vice Mayor and council members. Well, today is exciting. It is the last step in our final budget process for fiscal year 21. And as the mayor summarized, as she was presenting the item, the total appropriations for our fiscal year 21 final budget is $222,754,251. That you can make modifications at this time, you just cannot increase the appropriation. I do want to highlight just a couple of items, and mostly concerning our general fund and our contingency. Our contingency this year is different than in other years. It is normally about $1 million. However, this year we increased it to $2.55 million, and that is to set aside a $1.55 million payment that in the event that we have a speedier economic recovery than what we expected and then what we estimated for fiscal year 21, we can use those monies to pay down our over $31 million PSPRS unfunded liability payment. So at the end of fiscal year 21, we're expected to have just over $14 million in our ending fund balance, which does meet our fund balance policy. It puts our fund balance at 40% of our budgeted expenditures and transfers. That does not include contingency. And that fund balance policy is a best practice. And I think that this year, going into fiscal year 21, it shows why it's important to keep those dollars in our fund balance, and that's because we had to tap into those in fiscal year 2021 due to the pandemic and not knowing what the economy is going to be in the next upcoming several years, since we are heavily reliant on sales tax revenues. So I wanted to just highlight that particular item before discussion and before you actually decide to adopt the final budget. I do want to point out that as you move through the discussion and adopt the resolution, that in the resolution it states that we were holding our public hearing today at 5 o'clock p.m., but it's actually 4 o'clock p.m. So I would just ask that that revision be made to your approval.
Thank you. Are there questions or comments for Director Mullane regarding the budget or for Manager Foggin? I would open the floor for council discussion.
Mayor Miles, this is Vice Mayor Lingenfelter.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
I would like to say, in response to the comments or the feedback that we did receive today, we certainly appreciate that. And what I was referring to during our budget hearings, when I used the word hammering, I guess that he did not like that word. So what I was referring to during our budget hearings was something in marketing that is called the rule of 7, which basically suggests that consumers need to hear a message an average of 7 times before they will consider taking action. That's what I was referring to. After we received that information this morning from him, I did reach out to Mr. Foggin and requested staff input to try to provide Mr. Franzen with some additional information that perhaps he had not seen. I did receive that information from staff, from Manager Foggin at 3:11 p.m. today, and I would like to ask Manager Foggin that his response to me in response to the comments that we received be included in the official minutes of this meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor. So Manager Foggin, we'll include those comments. I guess you were referring to the information about financing for our roads.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
there was several questions. We'll make sure that those are included to go in with Vice Mayor's comments.
Good. So then that will be available to the public. That will be very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other questions or comments or discussion regarding the adoption of our final budget? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt resolution number 5273 and the fiscal year 2020-21 final budget and capital improvement plan. I would entertain
Madam
a
Mayor,
motion.
I'll motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve the resolution 5273 and our fiscal year 2020-21 final budget and capital improvement plan. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Councilor Mellekiner. We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, please state aye. And let's just state aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Annie, do we need a roll call vote? I only heard 3.
I can do a roll call, but if you'd like.
I think that'd be best because I didn't hear everyone's
Grilled
response.
cheese. Grilled cheese.
Mayor Miles,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lingenfelter,
Aye.
Councilmember Mellekiner,
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Councilmember Watkins.
Did somebody unmute him?
He's muted. Annie, can you unmute him?
Ken, you're on mute. Can you push your space bar?
got it. There. Hi.
Councilmember Watkins?
Sorry about that.
Now I've
I
heard
was clicking
everybody.
on, I was clicking on the picture of me to unmute, and I did that. And anyway, sorry.
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure that everyone had their vote in.
Thanks,
Okay,
Mayor.
anyone opposed? Then, then ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. And that is the conclusion of our only item of business, and so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I motion that we adjourn the special meeting.
Thank you, Councilor Watkins. A second?
A second.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. All in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. We're adjourned. Thank you all so very much.
Yeah.
Team, thank you, team. I forgot to say thank you before this, but thank you, Manager Foggin and everybody.
You're very welcome.
This has been a long process. Tina, thank you.